Well, thank you very much. My new friends and the Israel ambassador and your team, CUMIPAZ and the World Embassy. I'm so glad to be here. It's a long time that I've not heard such deep words about human being, human life, and the connection to the environment. So thank you very much. Hablo un poquito español, so voy a hablar en inglés, okay? I think the most important thing that happened lately is that the Panama team of football went to the Mundial. So congratulations. Okay. So after saying that, I have to, what I'll do in this short time, I will give you some introduction, but then I will talk mainly about water reuse, but I will try to look at the big picture because it's not going by itself. And so I will talk about the changes in the whole water cycle that is happening. Where is the water reuse coming in there? What are the challenges in front of us? And what is necessary to do further? Now, there is a quest for water in mankind for many years, since the old biblical times and till these days. And we are used to think that there is not enough water in the world. But I think we have to change the way we think, because there is a lot of water in the world. If you look at the map of the globe, you can see 70% of the globe is full of water. By the way, the human body also has 70% of water, so maybe there is a connection. Anyway, you can see here oh, sorry. Why did it go so far back? How do I get there? Okay, and now I advance. It's very sensitive. I'm sorry, I'm not used to this. Israel lies here in the Middle East, but Israel is not totally dry. It has actually all the climates in the world, and our experience, I think, can be something to learn from and to help other nations. So, but if you look at this globe, really, there is a lot of water, not only the ocean water, because we know today to desalinate water in good price. And we know how to treat wastewater in reuse wastewater in a good price. So what I'm trying to say here, that it is not the quantity of water that should lead us to solve the water problems, but it should be the water quality that is the problem. Because we cannot use the ocean water. Más lento? To speak more slowly than I speak now, so you will give me more time. I'm sorry. Maybe I will try to speak in Spanish, but it will not be so good. Okay. So, I prefer not to do that. Not, yeah, I will speak in English, and people will understand what I'm saying. It's difficult.
okay,
No?
because they don't speak English. I mean, if you speak to the audience here, they won't understand. I mean, half of the audience won't understand.
Okay. All right.
Half of the audience won't understand what you say.
I don't know.
¿No hay audífonos para todos? Sí,
No.
pero hay un problema técnico y no le está llegando los audífonos. Entonces, ¿qué quieres? Que
Okay.
otra vez se para y...
So I will speak a sentence and you will translate then, or what?
Yeah, like you can go like in a case and I'll go after you. תעביר רעיונות, ואז הוא יתרגם.
טוב, בסדר.
אם לא יצא, אז נמצא פתרון אחר.
Okay, so there is enough water on the globe, but we cannot use it because of its quality.
Entonces, podemos decir que hay suficiente agua en el mundo, pero no podemos usarla toda.
The seawater is salty, but if we remove the salt, then we can drink it.
Porque el agua es salada, pero si le quitamos la sal, entonces ya la podemos usar.
The wastewater is full of contaminants and bacteria and virus, but if we remove them, we can even also drink it.
Y el agua contaminada pues está llena de bacterias y de ciertos organismos, pero si se los quitamos, la podemos usar.
So actually, the whole way that we look in water management should be different in this century.
Entonces lo que estamos buscando es encontrar la forma correcta de cómo hacer el manejo en cada situación.
Because actually we can manufacture water, a lot of water.
Porque en realidad lo que podemos hacer es fabricar agua.
So we can manufacture water through water reuse.
Podemos fabricar agua para hacer reuso del agua.
We can manufacture water from the sea by desalination plants.
Podemos fabricar agua al quitarle la salinidad al agua, el agua salina.
And we can produce water from subterranean brackish water, also by desalination.
Agua subterránea también la podemos usar desalinizándola.
So actually, we completely changed the water cycle.
Entonces de esa manera podemos cambiar completamente el ciclo.
In Israel, for example, 60% of the drinking water comes from the sea.
En Israel, por ejemplo, el 60% del agua potable proviene del mar.
50% of the agricultural irrigation water come from wastewater.
El 50% de agua de irrigación proviene de aguas negras, de aguas desechadas.
So instead of the regular water cycle that we learned in school, that there is evaporation from the sea and there is rain and there is lakes and rivers that are being created and we take the water from them and wells.
Entonces, al contrario de lo que aprendemos en el colegio, que el sol sale, evapora el agua y se produce este ciclo, tenemos otras alternativas.
The water cycle has expanded. It's not only this.
De esa manera se extiende.
So we have the sea became a direct part of the water cycle.
Aquí tenemos, por ejemplo, el mar, que es una parte directa del ciclo del agua.
The wastewater that comes from the houses became another water resource.
El agua que sale usada de las casas llega a esta planta y podemos reusarlas, tratarlas y reusarlas.
So we have a much more complex water cycle, but it's a better water cycle because we have more water than the nature can give us.
Entonces es un ciclo más complejo, pero significa que tenemos más agua de la que la naturaleza nos da.
So actually, we can look at the whole picture as being built or constructed from two phases or two parts. One part is the part of the water resources. It is the sky, is the clouds, is the sea, it's surface water, it's groundwater, and it's wastewater.
Entonces podemos ver que ya el cuadro completo ya es basado en dos recursos, uno el agua que se produce naturalmente y otro ya el recurso que se le da a las aguas que nosotros consumimos.
And the other part of the cycle is the cycle of consumers,
La otra parte del ciclo es la parte de los consumidores,
which are the industries, which are the houses, ourselves, which is agriculture,
las industrias,
and also
nosotros mismos, la agricultura,
the nature.
y también la naturaleza.
Nature should be regarded as a water consumer too.
También debe ser entendida como un consumidor de agua, la naturaleza.
For example, dry rivers, because the water has been taken from them for drinking long ago, we can revive them back by putting them treated wastewater which would fit ecological life.
Por ejemplo, podemos tomar aguas que ya han sido usadas, tratarlas y usarlas para regar otra vez la naturaleza y eso aumentaría el ciclo.
Or we should keep enough water to keep the natural reserves because they are very important to us.
Así mantenemos más agua para nuestros recursos naturales ya que son tan importantes para nosotros.
Now, there are still, where should I, but there are still many challenges that we have today, and science has to work, and water industry has to work in order to combat them. First of all, because we have so many types of water now in the water systems that I mentioned before, we need to know how to manage the water in a way that each one will get the right and good quality of water. There are various challenges because, for example, desalinated water is corrosive and doesn't have enough minerals in them. Because in surface water we still have virus and different types of bacteria, but also we have nanoparticles from different industries that are penetrating the surface water. The groundwater is suffering still from industrial pollution, from microorganic contaminants and heavy metals. The wastewater has, the general type of organic materials and bacteria and so forth, but also if you want to use the wastewater for agriculture, we need to remove or take care that there will not be boron, which is not good for plants, and we need to try to find out about hormones and medical contaminants and to have the right guidance how to remove them. But most of all, we must look at this in a holistic way. And I will give you an example. For example, if you desalinate water in the beginning of the cycle, the water after desalination comes without any minerals. No calcium, no magnesium, no other minerals. Okay. Some of the minerals like calcium are important to prevent corrosion in the systems. But magnesium, for example, is very important for health. So we have to look at this when it comes for drinking, but this is not the whole thing. After using the water at home, the water goes for recycling, yes, as a wastewater to be treated and to irrigate the plants. But the water still doesn't have magnesium and other elements which are very important for the plants. The production plants, sorry. And then the soil also needs, for example, the soil also needs magnesium for its stability. So when we look at something to correct, for example, to add water, we have to look at the whole cycle from the beginning till the end and find out what is going to happen. Even if you look at small things, for example, there is a leakage from a pipe. There is a hole in the pipe, okay? What normally people do, they invite the company, find the hole and close it. But after some time, they have another hole and another hole and another hole. So first of all, it's better to find out the cause. Why did it happen? Probably because of some things upstream, changing the water quality or something like that. But then if they repair the hole, for example, they put some materials to close it, these materials may be dissolved and they may be toxic to life downstream. Okay. And this brings me, and I will talk about technology in a moment, but if there is need to combat challenges in water and to supply water and to treat wastewater, first of all, we have to analyze the whole situation. And then decide what is the solution, and then decide what would be the right appropriate technologies to use there. And don't worry about the water industry will not have money, okay? They will have it. There is enough problems in the world, but it's not, the solution is not to run and offer and buy a technology before you really look at the solution and do it. Yeah, I do not have much time to enter in what's happening in Panama, but here also, you know, the creation of the lakes for the canal created some other challenges about the local population, the drinking water that is necessary, there is pollution that is happening, and again, by looking holistically at the whole thing, it is possible to find the right solution that both the canal and the people will live together in harmony. Now, if we talk about water reuse, now we understand the water reuse is a part of a whole water cycle. Now, you can look here and you can say it. Yeah.
Okay, me pide que lea, dice, ¿por qué el reuso del agua? Primer punto, escasez de agua.
Well, maybe I will, okay, I sent you it before, but anyway, okay, there are many advantages to reuse of wastewater. Yes, one, it's a new water resource, as I said, to overcome water scarcity. Another thing is to help when there are shorter water shortages, because we have wastewater all over the year. It can be accumulated and being kept for dry seasons, for a part of the year that rain is scarce. By reusing the wastewater, we actually solve an environmental problem. Instead of that the wastewater will go and pollute the sea and pollute the lakes and pollute the rivers, it is being reused. And not less important is that when we reuse wastewater for agriculture, for industry, and also there are some places that use it for drinking after very good treatment, then we have more natural water available for drinking, and this is a very important sustainable characteristics. And actually, it gives economical motivation for conservation. And we know that in order to improve water environmental quality, you need economic incentive. And here there is economic incentive because the reused wastewater is normally cheaper than bringing natural water.
Y también hay un incentivo económico porque el reuso del agua, porque sabemos que se necesita tener un incentivo económico para todo proyecto, lo que se quiera hacer. Y sabemos que el reuso del agua genera ahorro y genera una ganancia en ese sentido.
Now, there are many applications to treated wastewater. There is a whole list here, but in shortly, I would say that I mentioned agricultural irrigation, but it can be used for industrial purposes, for sport, golf courses, stadiums, toilet flushing, and in other uses.
No puedo entrar en detalle porque son muchas, pero menciono algunas de los usos que se le puede dar al agua reusada. Dice para irrigación agricultural, para jardines, para canchas de golf, hoteles.
Now, many countries that we see that they may have surplus of water, a lot of rivers or lakes, but many of them are so polluted that to reuse the wastewater can be cheaper than trying to resolve very quickly the pollution problem.
Hay países donde tienen ríos y fuentes hídricas que están tan contaminadas que es mejor, que puede que sea más barato reusarlas que entrar a tratar de resolver el problema de la contaminación como tal.
Now, there are also different public health challenges and technical challenges. There's not much time about it. I hope that you can distribute the slides to the participants. One thing that I can point at is the soil salinity. Wastewater is more saline than regular, most of the regular natural water. So, but if you can mix natural water with desalinated water, for example, or desalinated water, then the salinity will be much smaller. Much less. If you mix it with, if you mix wastewater with natural water that has less salinity, you reduce the salinity, right? Am I right? Yeah. De menos salida. No. Sí. Mezcla aguas negras con agua dulce. So, tienen un bajar la salinización. ¿Sí? Okay. Okay. Now, some technologies that have been applied. For example, what is called soil aquifer treatment. No, es de tratamiento del agua, del suelo es un tratamiento. The soil treats the water. Okay? So hay un muy largo proyecto en Israel, and the water that comes from this are very, very clean and can irrigate even vegetables and other foods. Yeah. This is a slow sand filter, a very simple technology that we, by doing research together with people from Dakar and Senegal, we to understand slow sand filter, you need a lot of science, but to operate it is very easy. And this, and this is used in the car in order to purify the wastewater and to be able to irrigate with it.
Se usa para descontaminar el agua y usarla para irrigación.
All right. I'm taking too much time. También hay proyectos muy avanzados para desalinar las aguas negras y tener aguas que están... Okay. Are you back? Okay, sorry. Okay. I wanted to experiment my Spanish and they don't let me. So, I mean, today there are more projects in advanced countries in order to turn wastewater into drinking water. In California, in Singapore, in Namibia, in Africa. In Israel, we also have the pilot plants, but not yet approved for drinking. So the technology can be more complex or easier, but there is one thing which is common to all technologies. You need really good science and technology know-how in order to create them. And this is very important. I don't know if here in Panama, for example, you have technological incubators, but this is a good way to develop your own technology and solutions. Now, I will jump a little. I mean, there are different types of technological developments. For example, UV disinfection of water and wastewater by special hydro-optic devices. There is quite a nice way to turn wastewater treatment plant that is not sufficient because the population grow. You actually you throw into the wastewater treatment basin little plastic pieces, and because bacteria like to sit on something, they sit on them and they work more effectively in the treatment of the organic matter in the wastewater. There are quite a few plants like this also in Mexico and other places. No, I want to come back one. Okay. If we talk again about advanced research, this is the work that I did in my laboratory. One of the biggest problems in water and wastewater transport and also treatment is the form of biofilms. The form of biofilms in the pipes, and they are formed in drinking water pipes, in wastewater pipes, they increase the friction of the water with the pipe, and this way you lose a lot of energy. You need more pumping. Also, they accumulate particles and bacteria, and when the biofilm grow, it's sloughed off and carried further. What we have developed is in a way to fight those things by introducing nanoparticles of silver. The silver is a disinfectant, and what you do, you can introduce it into the water and then collect them later, and they can prevent biofilm formation. Mainly on membranes, for example, they suffer a lot from what is called biofouling. So I would say here that actually there is more to do, but still there are already solutions The technology is there, and it is possible to recycle water and to reuse water and to desalinate water in prices that could be affordable, but a large portion of the population. I will not go to other. There are a lot of innovations in this area, but the last thing that I would like to talk about is about regulation. Normally, we as scientists and also developer of technologies, they don't like regulations. Who actually likes regulation? And we want to do what we like to do, and we want to earn money from and do it easy. But the regulations are really very important, because by having regulation, not only you keep the health of the people, but also you give a target. For example, if I want to treat water in order to remove turbidity. Turbidad, is a phenomena of light scattering by particles, which is a measure for particulate matter in the water or in the wastewater. Okay, we want to remove it, but how far do we need to remove it? Do we need to remove all of it, every tiny particle? Not for drinking. For electronic industry, yes. They also have their standards, and for drinking, there are drinking water standards. And the engineer that has to design the solution, he needs to know how far does he need to treat. And the regulation provides it. So I encourage, they don't like it, but I encourage scientists and engineers to participate in the regulation process. It's very important. Standards are the major driving force in the development of water industry. And I've been involved in that, and I can assure you that it's very much correct. So in conclusion, I think we understand the water recycling and reuse has many advantages, both for cities but also for rural areas. And technology already exists. It can be improved, but it is there. We need multidisciplinary research. Furthermore, to get better solution, to protect better our health from new things that are arriving. But I would say that the most important conclusion that I can say, it's not written here, is when you get a problem, look holistically at the problem, and then derive the right solution for it. And I wish all of us to have enough good water for generations to come. Thank you.